Hey there, guys. So, I'm hoping to do a little check in. Will probably be fairly short, what with one thing and another. But I didn't want to let another day go by without actually talking to you guys a bit. Um, we're having great weather. Today is Tuesday, the 7th, I think, of April. So it looks like, certainly from an astrological point of view, it looks like most of the very dramatic things in the sky have passed, actually. So I'm glad to report that. Um, Other than that, to my really great surprise, I'm actually back to creative writing again. And I have had several phases during the years, also fairly recently, and also like 10 years ago or whatever, where I really tried to put things into words other than what I'm doing here. And even though I talk about more or less exactly the same stuff in the writing experiment, which is basically what it is at this moment, compared to what I do on my channel on YouTube, it's very different to do it this way and kind of scary. And I think this is day 4 now, and it's really going rather well. And I'm actually managing to be true to the things in words in ways that I didn't think were possible. And a lot of what I've been doing over the past couple of years, some of which you've seen, or may have seen, or may you can see on my channel if you like, if you're into whatever it is that I bring. 60 subscribers, yay! Some of those who forgot to unsubscribe at some point, I think, because boring, this lot. Anyway, recent things like the Shakti energy work and the Tumo, everything's going into the text, right? And if I just stand here and talk to you, I realize also that it's a very different medium, and the result of the effort, even though there is the language in common between that exercise and this exercise, still they're very different. It's even just the simple fact of what it looks like. If you say, example, I have something really important to tell you, suppose, okay, and you want to, for whatever reason, what I'm saying has a lot of significance for you, you would have to rewatch that particular vlog or that video of mine in order for my intel to sort of, you have to take notes or something like that, you have to write it down for yourself. Whereas in the written form, it's so much easier to read and process and compare and page, leaf over back and forth, and basically just make up your own mind about what's in there. And I'm really struck at how different it is, and I'm enjoying myself no end. I mean, both the writing, the video making, I've always enjoyed. In the past couple of whatever it is, 2 years almost that I've been on YouTube, it's just been so much fun to do, and to manage to finally also put a lot of things into words. I suppose it's been a huge preparation for the actual writing that's happening at this time. So, seeing as they're really different, the two activities shouldn't be elbowing each other out of my life either way, as I see it. So it's a matter of choosing to do it, to me, at the moment. So I know that you guys are out there. Some of you guys like to watch what I bring, whatever it is, and I love you for that, because oh my god, if you hadn't been there, I wouldn't be doing that right now. It's all a growth process. It's all a process of finding your strengths and finding which way works for you. And it's just been one hell of a ride, and it's amazing every day. So there's that. Other than that, husband's still working from home. I think we are managing, both of us, to find our ways, you know, around that. We are both healthy and coping quite well. And there hasn't been any recurrence anymore of, necessarily of any infections or anything of that sort. We've had really good weather. Also, the past week has been really good, and it looks like the coming couple of days are still going to be quite good. It's a bit dry for the garden and for the nature out there, but it looks like, actually I could show you that at some point or other. The ponds and little streams out there that some of you may have seen in my vlogs, as if I took you out there, they're still full of water, even though it hasn't rained in weeks really. And that's because of the and there's a word that I don't know, a word for a piece of an installation that they put in a canal somewhere that actually holds the water in. A sluice? Is that a sluice? You tell me, okay? You tell me if you know. Please do. I'd love to hear from you. So a contraption that actually prevents the water from flowing out of the land into the ocean and out and gone, like that. So that's what they've done, obviously, quite obviously, because the water levels are still fairly high, and which is great because that prevents a lot of dehydration for the the little woods out there and the sort of park-like place environment that's out there, and all the areas around it and everybody's gardens and things like that. So yeah, so that's okay. Nice weather, lots of sunshine, lots of sitting in the sun. I don't know if you can tell, I've got great color nowadays. So from being out there, lots of nice vitamin D and things, and I'm still very much on a hydrating regimen. So 3 to 4 mugs of hot water per day. I drink slightly less tea than normal because I basically get what I need from drinking hot water. I drink tea for the taste, because it's enjoyable. I had an interesting recipe yesterday. Maybe that's a cool thing to share. I have made like a Indian Turkish chai type mixture, where I just have a little pan that I tend to boil water separately in my kettle over here on the gas, and then in the pan goes either black Turkish black tea or gunpowder green in maybe slightly less quantity, with a cardamom, beans, pips, a couple of those, depending on the quantity of that I want to make, 2 or 3 or so. Cloves, 2 or 3, and a piece of cinnamon bark, the thin type of cinnamon, because I discovered, again, after I discovered this a few times previously, that there's actually a fat, thick type of cinnamon bark that is actually a bit harder to get at the aroma of it, and it will work in a decoction if you boil it a really long time. But the thinner Sri Lanka cinnamon is actually a lot stronger for this type of beverage. So normally that's the combination. Okay, so those 3 spices in a green or a black tea. Yesterday I replaced the regular tea base with what is that, lemon balm that I've got dried. Doesn't look like much. I got it in France, like big bag full. And what's the name of that? Another I'll put a link to the herb in the description. Okay, that saves both of us time. As a citrusy type, lemony type green herb, basically. So it became a herbal chai that way. That was really nice. And lemon balm is, of course, very relaxing, and it kind of makes you a bit sleepy, whereas the spices are actually kind of activating. I found it really nice I tend to make just one mug for each, for whoever is here, for the two of us most of the time. And then that's just, I just boil that for 2 or 3 minutes or so together, and then I let it stand for just a couple more minutes and then pass it through the sieve, and you can drink it like that. And yeah, that was real nice. So it was like a herbal chai variation on a theme. And what with the nice weather, I'm going much more for the spicier types of teas and things. So, but I'm detecting, what with all the hydration happening and all the hot water and stuff, I've detected several benefits, you guys. Oh God, I have so much less pain in my anatomy from whatever it is that I am doing. It's no comparison. I have, I don't think I've had a headache anyway for since the last time, which is like 5 or 6 weeks ago, with the tonsil adventure. For whoever has actually watched all that. No headaches, but also I can go on a 2 or 3 hour hike on my army boots, which are really heavy boots, and I do not need painkillers afterwards, or even magnesium, which is something I've used lots of as a muscle relaxant. So amazing, no more. It's not like I just feel loads better. I am so much more detoxed constantly than I have ever been in my life. I only wish I'd known this when I was growing up. It's just so so silly, elementary and cheap, and I could have done this thing, and I never really got the memo that until now, that is. So also, one other thing, I got my period significantly later than I was expecting it. I wasn't worried that I was going to be pregnant. No, because no, but there was absolutely fairly. I mean, I'm 100% sure there's a correlation there with the whole detoxing business as well. So this is, for you guys who are interested in these types of info. I drink, like I've said a couple of times already, 3 to 4 mugs, this quantity, or depending, of hot water, fairly not too hot, each day. And the last thing I drink before going to bed tends to be a mug of tea, chamomile or herbal or something else, because otherwise I get really. The thing is, I have a dry mouth quite a lot of the time. I'm getting used to it nowadays, but it's because it's a change from what it used to be like, with not really having enough not having enough hydration generally all the time. So I was used to there being much more fluids and moisture kept in like that. And that's changed because everything is just flowing. Everything is detoxing the whole time. So I have a feeling that I'm kind of, thirsty and so on, much more often. However, if I drink tea, another, just a mug of some type of preferably herbal or green tea before going to bed, that sort of compensates. It's okay now. It's fine. It used to be a bit uncomfortable during the night, like last week, early last week, for example, 10 days ago or so. But it stopped being uncomfortable. It's fine now. So I can tell, also talking here, standing here talking with, all the juices happening, I can tell everything is moving much more. And so hence also the thing that I actually got my period, what was it? It was supposed to be on Thursday. So generally I was expecting it either Thursday or Wednesday. Actually, I ended up getting it on Sunday. So like 3 days later. And I was kind of surprised, but it made sense because my body just doesn't need the detox that it gets from the period as much. So there was no urgency there. I could actually tell that during the whole period session. It was like, it was, I have not used any painkillers during my period either. No cramps, not to mention, not that it's not, being having my periods never really like, yay, I'm on my period. I mean, I like the fact that it cleanses me out always, but if that's even an English expression, I don't know. At this point, it was really, yeah, it was fine. So that's more than a week ago. Other than that, effects from um, just generally, basically, like I can hoover the half of the house, and I'm, still yelling at the hoovering machine and cursing. But there are parts, areas in the house where if I want to hoover properly, I actually have to get down on all fours and use the little pipe thingy on the hoovering machine and in there, If I do that, then I don't need to do it for another couple of weeks, So I'm still cursing and shouting at the machine and having a bit of a hard time getting up because, I'm over 50 and, that's what happens. But an hour later, I've sat at the computer and I've sat outside, etc. I have slight, stiffness in my backbone down here. Yes, if I go wriggle like this, I can tell there's slight stiffness from hoovering. But it's like 10% of what it used to be like. Drink hot water, you guys. Please experiment for yourself. If you already do this, then just forget about me. But if you have never tried this, go on an experiment for yourself. Please try it, because I'm, here and fluffy and cute and my hair is all nice and clean, and I'm asking you, try this out for yourself for 3 weeks and see what happens. Without the berries or any of that, just don't worry about that necessarily. Unless, of course, you want to. That's a different thing. So good news to that extent. My tonsils are fine. I'm still kind of hoarse. I'm still coughing occasionally, a couple of times a day, and but my tonsils have been clean and fine for, what's today? Tuesday, so at least 5 or 6 days or so. I think it was Friday the last time that I actually had a bit of a kind of a tiny, and since then it's been fine. What with generally also, the rest of all the sort of economic things that are going on seem to be coming under control. People around me in the businesses and so on and so forth, they seem to be able to address the situation they're in to some extent. Everybody is aware that it isn't going to last forever. There have actually even been noises as to a slight leveling off of the number of corona, victims or patients in the hospitals. It looks like the numbers are leveling off a bit. So social distancing is absolutely doing the trick. I've had to occasionally, for a day or so, withdraw completely from the internet. It's also why I haven't made so many videos. So I'm updating you guys. I was going to not talk for that long, but okay, it's what it is. Okay. I haven't had always the. Can you hear the dog? Dear Lord. There's a couple of times a day over there, dogs in a new house. I don't know what it is. They put them outside and then they start howling. So, where was I? Yes, I had to kind of withdraw from the whole internet for a day or two, and especially during the weekend. And for me, it depends to a very large extent on how my husband is doing. when he's coping and he's doing his things, and he's talking to so many people on the phone still. It's incredible. So yeah, I think that's it sounds like what he's saying is that it sounds like either, people have filed for support, financial support. There's all sorts of new regulations come out to help people bridge over this time, and I think that by now most people are fairly confident that it is, we are, we actually, we've kind of seen the worst of it. It's not over yet, and we still have, basically in the Netherlands, we still have 3 whole weeks to go with no restaurants, no pubs, lots of shops closed. Only half of the market on Wednesdays out there is available. Only the food is available. Social distancing is everywhere. You're reminded every 5 steps, you're reminded of the 5 steps away from the other guy. You cannot go to the supermarket together, husband and I. We can't go, we have to go to the shop, either one of us, depending. So I tend to go to the market and buy separate things, and husband tends to do the supermarket run because he's just it's just been that way for a couple of days. So actually I think I've managed really well recently. What with the writing experiment, it's just coming off really well. I'm actually writing in Dutch at the moment. It would be possible to translate it at some point. I'm fairly confident, but it's just too early days for that now. It's fascinating to me how I can actually, I have to thank everybody out there. I'm so aware how much goodness I have received from Supportive Tarot, those two, to the fact that Lisa has put up her Self-Worth Saturday endeavors again, that she's, restarted that whole process. That's been instrumental. The fact that she talks about her self-worth book that she has been writing, that's actually sort of finished now, and that she's going to, I hope, publish really soon. I think it was in the pipeline to go late summer, early autumn or so. A book that she has written herself about her experiences and her ideas on self-worth and self-love, and so how to get rid of the spooks in your brain that tell you you're not good enough, or any of those things. It's amazing how much I can, the fact that other people are working on this stuff, and that how many perspectives I really need in order for my own words to come out in the place where they're supposed to be. It's amazing. I'm having quite a bit of success with what I'm doing. Also, it's a lot of work because I have to think about every sentence, or sometimes I write in a flow for an hour or so, and then I'm kind of scared to reread it again, because it's like everything just comes out of the darkness like that. And then I have to still kind of filter it at some point to see whether it's, and there's lots of magic in it, and lots of magical experiences and memories and images, memories, and atmosphere, and I suppose basically my everlasting connection to magic. So yeah. lots of yummy. Thank you for being here, for hanging out with me for this little check-in here. I will put this up forthwith is the word I was looking for. Yes. And I hope you're well, and please keep it so, okay? And see you next time. Thank you. See you soon.